Of course, here's the modified article presented in a natural, flowing speech format with extended depth, emotion, and drama without paragraph count or instructional interruptions. WrestleMania 41 was never meant to look the way it ultimately unfolded. Beneath the flashing lights, roaring crowds, and unforgettable moments lay a different vision, one that was built, altered, and reshaped countless times in the months leading up to the grandest stage of them all. Thanks to the eye-opening revelations in Netflix's WWE, Unreal, fans now have a glimpse behind the curtain, where ambition met reality and creative direction clashed with shifting plans, injured stars, backstage politics, and the unpredictability that defines the wrestling business. In its earliest conception, WrestleMania 41 was to be the coronation of a new generation. The plans were bold. There were rumors that Gunther would headline the show in a long-awaited clash against Brock Lesnar, a match teased for over a year, designed to pit the ring general against the Beast in what many thought would be the ultimate passing of the torch moment. But then, Lesnar was pulled from the show following legal complications tied to external investigations, leaving the creative team scrambling to rebook one of the marquee bouts just weeks out. Roman Reigns, originally set to enter WrestleMania not as a champion but as a legend protector, was reinserted into a main event role when plans for The Rock fell through. The "Final Boss" arc that began with so much promise ultimately couldn't deliver on the WrestleMania stage, reportedly due to scheduling conflicts and behind-the-scenes hesitations over the direction of the Bloodline story. The Rock appeared in limited capacity, but the match, one that was supposed to define this era, never materialized. Cody Rhodes was always part of the equation. But whether he'd finish the story at WrestleMania 41 was never a sure thing. Internal debates raged. Some believed the time was right. Others thought there was more to explore with his chase. Ultimately, the decision was made in the 11th hour. Cody would go over Roman, clean, ending the historic title reign. But even that conclusion had alternative drafts. One version reportedly saw CM Punk interfering to cost Roman the title and set up a SummerSlam clash, but Punk's triceps injury at the Royal Rumble left that idea on the cutting room floor. CM Punk himself was set for a monumental moment in Philadelphia. His return had energized fans and brought old-school fire back to WWE storytelling. He was supposed to face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship in a technical classic that would have headlined Night 1. But fate had other plans. That injury forced WWE to pivot. Enter Drew McIntyre, who seized the opportunity with his signature intensity and delivered a brutal, physical showcase with Rollins instead. It wasn't what was planned, but it worked. And then there was LA Knight. Initially pegged for a cinematic-style match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, something between a brawl and a send-off, the plan was scrapped after Austin declined the spot. Knight was redirected into a feud with AJ Styles, a match that turned into a sleeper hit, giving Knight the spotlight he needed and Styles the respect he earned. Still, fans wondered what might have been had that segment with Austin been realized under the WrestleMania lights. Bayley's match with Io Sky almost didn't happen either. WWE originally flirted with the idea of a triple threat involving Bianca Belair, believing it could help protect Io in defeat. But the emotional core of Bayley's story, her betrayal, her climb back to the top, proved too compelling. In the end, they gave her the one-on-one match, and it delivered one of the most cathartic victories of the entire weekend. Damage control unraveled in public, and Bayley had her redemption. Another change came with the tag titles. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were not originally booked to reunite. Their paths had diverged post-SummerSlam, with Owens rumored for a US title program and Zayn exploring solo feuds. But the crowd reactions and merch sales told a different story. WWE called an audible. The reunion was announced late, the pop was massive, and their match against Judgment Day became a WrestleMania classic. Then there was Logan Paul, who was tentatively scheduled for a title defense against Randy Orton. But the return of Orton came with a caveat: he wanted someone newer, fresher, a test of what WWE's future looked like. That led to the inclusion of Braun Breaker, turning the match into a triple threat that elevated Breaker in a way few matches ever could. It wasn't about wins or losses. It was about moments. WrestleMania moments. Bianca Belair herself had no confirmed match until March. The working idea was to keep her off the card to build anticipation for a surprise summer feud. But fan demand wouldn't allow it. WWE pivoted, inserting her into a last-minute Intercontinental Women's Invitational, a 6-woman ladder match that stole the show on night 1 and saw Belair hold the title high once again. The tag team landscape shifted just as unpredictably. The Creed brothers were originally set to challenge for the titles, but injuries to Julius Creed changed the trajectory. DIY stepped in. Their chemistry, storytelling, and timing turned a Plan B into a standout moment. Sometimes, the magic lies in the unscripted. Dominic Mysterio was reportedly set for a redemption match with Rey, billed as one final fight, but Rey's Hall of Fame commitments and outside media deals delayed that chapter. Dom instead faced Dragon Lee, showcasing both men's growth and setting the stage for their continued rivalry. Then came the Battle Royals. Once seen as filler, these matches were transformed into storytelling engines. Chad Gable's emotional win in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal was not originally planned, it came as a response to fan support and his breakout performances on Raw. On the women's side, Liv Morgan's shocking return and victory gave her a moment long overdue. The United States Championship match was another scramble. Logan Paul, who was holding the belt, was originally set to drop it before WrestleMania to create room for a high-profile celebrity match. When plans fell through, the creative team opted to have Paul defend in a chaotic, multi-man ladder match instead, delivering a spot fest that satisfied fans and gave a few rising stars like Carmelo Hayes and Austin Theory a chance to shine. Even the hosting duties changed. Initially set for The Miz and Maurice, the role was handed off to Pat McAfee after Miz suffered a minor injury. McAfee's energy, commentary, and crowd interactions added a unique flavor to the proceedings that couldn't have been planned. And what about the Hall of Fame? Originally meant to be a standalone Friday event, WWE instead chose to integrate inductees into WrestleMania segments, saving time and building in emotional beats throughout the weekend. The inclusion of Paul Heyman into the Hall brought tears, chants, and a speech that will be remembered for years. Ultimately, WrestleMania 41 became a showcase of adaptation. It was a living document, constantly evolving. What began as one vision became another. Some dreams died, others were born, and in the end, the show succeeded not despite the chaos but because of it. This was professional wrestling at its most unpredictable, most human, most exhilarating. As WWE, Unreal has shown the world, WrestleMania is never just about what happens in the ring. It's about the fight to get there. The adjustments, the sacrifices, the rewrites, the silence before the music hits. The moment when everything clicks, or collapses. And through all of that, the show goes on. Because it must. Because it's WrestleMania.